friction arms are one of my favorite accessories. Today's tip, I show you how I use friction arms to make handles for my camera cage. All you have to do is hand screw the 1/4-20s, set your desired angle, and tighten to set in place. Now you have an adjustable handle with multiple uses, allowing you to get a better grip on your camera for stable handheld footage. It can also be set as a top handle to get very low angles. Mr. Camera Junkie's tip of the day. Alright, welcome one and all to the live stream. My name's Lewis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills and not your gear. Welcome to the live stream. We are now into Sunday, I believe it's the 8th, or is it the 9th? I'm losing track. Sunday, May 9th, look at that. I'm losing track of all of the dates, but that's normal for me. Welcome to the live stream. If you're out there and you are part of the Camera Junkie crew, make sure to leave the a chat or a message #CJC, and I always start with a tip of the day, and everything seemed to have worked without a hitch, so we got the tip in the day already in there, and we're ready to start getting right into business. Well, today's topic is kit lenses, and are they really worth it, or are they not worth using at all? And even though my thumbnail kind of shows me being like a little hesitant to kit lenses, I'm here to say that I actually think that they are very good pieces of kit and something that's worth having in your bag, unless you have something that's better. But if you don't have anything that's better than the kit lens, the range that kit lenses give to you, whether it's APS-C or full frame, is actually very good. Now, you might not think that they're the best when it comes to photography in particular, but I beg to differ. I think you can get some very good images from the kit lenses. Is just all in the application that you use them. Anything outdoors, daylight, you're dealing with so much light that you don't really need to have the excess of a really fast lens, because whatever it is that you're using, you're going to be stopping it down pretty much past f4. And the kit lens here, even when it's zoomed out to 70, is at f5.6, which is actually not the worst for a 70mm. The kit lens, even though has similar characteristics when it comes to the focal length that you would get comparative to a full frame camera, actually is even more compact. So let me show you the difference right here. Right here, this is the size, or let me show you the backside like this. That's how small the kit lens on an APS-C Sony camera is. And this is the kit lens that you would find on a full frame, a 70-28. Am I too close to focus? There we go. I think it's having trouble with the microphone. Yeah, it's hunting. You okay, buddy? Anyways, so with that being said, I advocate for the kit lenses unless you have something better to replace it. Like, for example, I'm showing you this kit lens, but over here on my second angle, which is this shot right here, this is also my 24-70 f4 from the Zeiss on the Sony E-mount system. So that lens pretty much is my upgrade to that kit lens right there, and that's what I use majorly. So for that reason, I really haven't been using this lens all that much, and I am thinking about selling it because there's no reason for me to have this if I'm not using it at all. So it's sitting there and I'm not doing anything with it. Now, one thing that I really think that the kit lenses shine when it comes more than photography is actually video. The OSS that's applied to the lenses for the Sony E-mount, and even for when I was shooting with Canon, Nikon, a bunch of the kit lenses that come with the cameras have, whether it's called vibration reduction in the VR series in the Nikon, um, optical steady shot with Sony, or image stabilization with Canon, that the kit lenses tend to carry that. And when it comes to video, it's a really big difference, whether it is that you're trying to vlog or anything handheld. And right now, in these days, the OSS on these cameras and lenses are so good that I really don't see myself, going for the gimbals or anything like that. I have my setup, I still have my Steadicam and things like that, but I tend to shoot everything handheld. And I don't know if it's, maybe I just like the aesthetic of knowing that it wasn't done on a gimbal, but it still looks really good. So with that being said, I really think that, they're not bad when it comes for photos, but they're really good when it comes to video, especially on the APS-C lenses, or cameras, because the full frame cameras have the steady shot built into the body. So whether you're using a prime that doesn't have OSS, you still have some sort of image stabilization built in. With the APS-C cameras, you don't have that at all, so you could really take advantage of the kit lenses that have that built in. So, yep. And and when it comes to the kit lenses, because they usually tend to be cheaper, I think that you can get them like dirty, so to speak. Like, you don't mind roughing them up a little bit because you're just like, it's a kit lens. And when you tend to use a camera like a tool, and not be overly worried about it taking a nick or two, I think that allows you to get better photos, to get better photography, because you're not worried about, hey, what if a little dust gets on my lens or something like that. So I've noticed within myself, and I'm just using myself as an example, that when I have like this setup right here, my older Sony NEX6 with the kit lens attached to it, I tend to just not really care where I put the camera and get some risky shots, and those risky shots end up, paying off and being, very unique. Right now I don't have it. I usually have like a little lanyard that comes off of the side here. When I have the lanyard on there, I've just put my hand through the lanyard, held this camera, and been going around 70 miles an hour on I-95 at night and taking some really good, images of the Miami skyline with all the buildings lit up. Pictures for me that I really enjoy. And I wouldn't think that I would dare to stick my camera, my R series or my A6100, outside the car window while driving 70 miles an hour on I-95. Just wouldn't, that wouldn't cross my mind. But this one, oh yeah, this one's done it, and this one's gotten me some really good images because of it. So that's where I feel that I really like the used market when it comes to cameras, because sometimes when they got a scuff or two, you don't really worry about it. It's a camera that is kind of like, you feel like it's been around the block. So it's just like, hey, you can handle it. So I tend to put it through a more rigorous test, and I benefit from it. So I really have a lot of fun when it comes to that. And used cameras and kit lenses. So I'm a big fan of kit lenses. If you still have yours, pop it on there every once in a while and just use it. You'll be surprised, especially for video. So, well, with that being said, let's go to the chat. Okay, so Peter Gregg is in the house. He's saying, here's to a great show tonight, Lewis. Go get him. Thank you very much, Peter. Alright, Mario's in the house. Says, hello, Lewis, Peter, and soon to arrive friends. Happy Mother's Day, May 9th. says Peter. That's very true. It's a bittersweet Mother's Day for me. It's my first Mother's Day without my mother. It always sucked for me when it comes to Mother's Days. Oh man, I can't believe that just saying it aloud is getting to me. You know, you could think about certain things all day, and I guess you could just shield yourself from it. I won't apologize for tears. I sometimes say automatically and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," but I'm gonna quote a friend that I made through Clubhouse, Glenn Morshower. He said, "I don't think God made a mistake when He gave men ducts in their eyes to cry." And I agree with him. I think men should show their emotions and should cry because it's built into our systems, and it's actually negative if we deny ourselves tears. And it has not been a year that I've been without my mother. And I am not ashamed to say that I miss her. That I miss my mother. And next week is my birthday. Next Friday, the 14th. And my birthday being in May and on the 14th, because of the rotating schedule, there's been plenty of times where my birthday actually lands on Mother's Day. Plenty of times in my life. So, Mother's Day, my birthday, and the month of May has always been about family. My sister's birthday is in 2 days, or 2 days after mine, on the 16th. My nieces and a nephew are all born in May. And yeah, this is the first Mother's Day without, well, my sister and my soon-to-be ex-wife, or ex-wife actually, are the only mothers that are like within my family now. But yeah. And that's the truth. But thank you to Glenn. Thank you for you guys for hanging out. and watch me remember my mother. Yeah. Well, give me just 1 second, because I just wasn't prepared for this, so I just do want to wipe my face. So give me 1 second. Okay, well, with that being said, now I'm just gonna take the time, seeming that that's kind of like what's on the subject. For FYI, right now Aiden is with mom and with grandma. He's we finalized the divorce, and now we're doing the split custody, and Aiden is gonna be spending Saturdays and Sundays with mom and grandma, which should allow me to maybe start doing these live streams a little bit earlier, giving me more time to get things ready and maybe start producing more content. So right now Aiden is with mom and I miss him too. So it's like I'm all alone and just here hanging out with you guys. So I do really appreciate you guys coming here and spending the time. It means a lot to me. I'm always here consistent for you guys as well, because it's, you guys really mean a lot to me. So I just want to thank you once again. So let's go back to the chat. Okay, so we were talking about Mother's Day the 9th. Peter says, remind me to sing happy birthday next Friday. Why did that come up? Okay. Says 10th one for me. So I'm sorry to hear that. That's the 10th one, I'm guessing, without your mother. He says, I didn't mean to do that to you. My apologies. No, that's what I was telling you, Peter. There's no reason to apologize. That's a part of our culture that I wish wasn't like that. That we try to say like a man isn't strong because he cries, which is actually that's defeatist mentality. That's actually like trying to say that our creator God, made a mistake by giving men tear ducts. So I don't think he made a mistake by that, and there's so much good to being able to release that, and I think my mother's worth it, So anyone who thinks different of that can have their own opinion, but I love my mother that much that to show that I miss her, if tears so happen to flow from my face, so be it, because I love her that much, and that's that. So no apologies. I'm still having fun. It says, I'm sitting here in my parents' bedroom, now my bedroom. They're both in heaven and Jingles too. Yes, and what we do is that we miss them, and we also make sure to do better and try to be better every day and take advantage of every day in honor of them. I'm missing my grandmother, my sister, and my mother, and I want to do better every day, like to honor them. I do everything for my son and for like my family. That's what makes me tick. And that's also why, with the fact that they're not here anymore, it just gives me that oversight to say, you know what? Our time is finite. And we can go at any moment. So why are we wasting time on anything? And that's why I'm doing my best to move myself towards my dreams, my goals, to start moving me towards my passions. There's no time to waste. And then this says, remind me to sing you happy birthday next Friday. Alright, so Mario says, we're here for you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, but I do, and I hopefully I let you guys know as well, that you guys do mean, like, you guys are the bomb. You guys, this is the Camera Junkie crew, And Sly is here saying hello, fellow junkies. You see the Camera Junkie crew right here. Mario saying hi to Sly. And this is hi Mario, double-edged sword. That Lewis. Yeah. So Sly, if you didn't get the gist of it, we're just talking about that this is the first Mother's Day that I am without my mother. speaking of it. But good news is, things are progressing. Aiden is with mom and with grandma, so he's hanging out over there. I miss him. I'm having separation anxiety all the time when he's over there, and I'm working on that too. and yeah, and then next Friday is my birthday on the 14th. So next Saturday stream is gonna be like my birthday stream. That's what it's gonna be about. So I'm pretty much calling it right now when it comes to what the theme is gonna be. Today's kit lenses, and what I had mentioned before was that some people might not think that they're the best for photos, which I could understand. When it comes to prime lenses towards a zoom in general, the there's going to be a big difference when it comes to image quality, especially for stills. But with that being said, I really think that whether you're shooting video on full frame or especially on APS-C, having a kit lens with optical image stabilization, whether you're Sony, Canon, Nikon, whatever it is that you're using, it's a highly valuable tool to have in your kit. To have a kit lens like that in your bag, unless you have something to replace it, which stands by that. Now, I do have another story, because I bought my new microphone. Absolutely love it right now, because I've been using it for everything. Right, this is what's been running in my mind. So I'm like, I would like to get like maybe another pop filter, one of those, clown nose pop filters that go over this microphone, something generic, so that maybe I can work on like voiceover work and things like that with this microphone, trying to see what I can do. I'm working with what I have, but I have it connected to the boom arm here, right? Or the scissor arm. I think that's the correct name for it. The scissor arm here for the microphone. So I have this newer scissor arm, and these newer scissor arms, they go for about like $15 on Amazon. So I didn't want to buy a whole nother arm when all I wanted was another base. All I wanted was just another base so that I can leave that connected there, take the entire scissor arm off, and then move it to the secondary location kind of out of the way, and have that other one set up there, or maybe even set up on like a vocal booth, so that I can use the microphone in a more confined area for the voiceover work. So all I wanted was the base, but you really can't find just the base on Amazon. You would have to buy the entire arm. So that's like $15. And I'm like, I don't really need all that stuff when all I want that. The clown nose pop filter cost about $10, $9 and change. The generic one. So that's already like $25. And that was just for those two things that I wanted to make my workflow a little bit easier. And I just kind of threw that on the back burner. I had that in the back of my mind, and I just left it at that. Yesterday I was scrolling through OfferUp like I often do whenever I'm just, get a chance. So I'm scrolling through it, and I see that somebody is selling pretty much a kit, and they're selling it for $30, and it has the stand, the scissor arm, the pop filter, and it has a microphone for $30. But I really didn't care about the microphone. They didn't even show the brand or anything like that. So I was like, I shot an offer of $20 to basically see if I can get a couple of other things and get another scissor arm now, like as extra, as a backup. and the person said it was okay. They were right down the street too, right here in Hollywood, so it was just like a 5 minute drive. I stepped out of the house, grabbed it for $20, and literally was like saying, okay, I already saved me $5 on what I was going to buy. And another reason why I like shopping locally like that is because I got to speak to somebody there locally in Hollywood, and now they know of me and Mr. Fix It and what I do as a business, and could potentially lead to business in the future because I always drop off a business card. So with that being said, I got the couple of things that I wanted that I was gonna pick up from Amazon, but I got a throw-in microphone, and the microphone that came with it, as soon as I grabbed it, I was like, this has to be the worst microphone in the history of microphones. Excuse me. Yeah. So as soon as I, like I got this stuff. So now, just to show you, I got the scissor arm. I got the base. So now I'm able to move this scissor arm where I wanted. I have a backup that in case this one breaks or I just need anything else, I have another option. And it came with the pop filter. So right now I'm using this metal pop filter. I don't know if you can see it from this shot here. So now I'll be able to throw this clown nose generic pop filter onto it and attempt to do, to get the audio the way that I like with what I have already. But then I said, you know what? Worst case scenario, if I have a backup, for the backup, right? I have a backup microphone. Now, I've heard of some cheap generic brands, but I had never heard of this brand called Maono. So let's see if I can bring that up onto the screen. Maono. Okay, so Maono, as soon as you hold it, the word and the phrase that we use when I was growing up, as Puerto Rican, is like, as soon as you hold it, you're like, oh bro, that's Mickey Mouse. That is like such like a toy. Like, this is, you can't expect anything out of this because it's a, automatically, it's a piece of junk. You just know it. You just grab it. You're like, oh, there's no weight to it. It's completely a plastic build. So, like I said, I was like, I basically saved, $5 on the things that I wanted, and now I got a free microphone. It was like one of those infomercials, and they're like, but if you buy now, but wait, we'll throw in a microphone. And that's basically the way that I saw it. And I was like, hey, you know what? A USB microphone, it can't be that bad. As soon as I grabbed it, I was like, oh yeah, it's that bad. And this microphone, I started looking into it, actually sells for $27, and I think right now it's on sale for $20. So basically, if I were to be able to sell this microphone for the price that it sells for, $20, I got all that stuff for $5, which is where the deal comes in. So with that in mind, I said maybe I can sell this microphone, move it on to the next person. Even if I get $10-15 out of it, that's already positive towards what I've already paid, that making the things that I want to acquire even that much cheaper. But because I had it in my hands, I said, you know what, let me play with it. And I turned it on, and I was surprised. It is not the worst thing that I've ever heard in my life. It's got this little rinky-dinky gain knob in the front that allows you to adjust the gain on the fly, which is pretty cool because it's a USB, so seeming that it's connected through the computer, you wouldn't have the ability to just go into the settings and start changing things while you're actually using it, like say you were on a live stream. But if you did want to kick in the gain a little bit to have it right on the microphone, is not bad. Now, it doesn't compare to my Samsung by any means. I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, you cannot compare. But is it usable? Yeah. And I don't know if you guys want me to connect it to see if you can tell a difference, but there is one advantage to using the USB microphone that I think that it's just because I connected it, it just sparked the idea that I'm like, you know what, the USB is not connected through the mixer here. So all of these sound effects, right, all of that stuff is being controlled here. I can totally bypass this microphone and then see if maybe I can put a noise gate or anything on this one, because it's going to be connected independently via USB. So that was something that I was thinking about messing around with, but it's just a funny coincidence. I'm like, I probably, if I want to, I would be able to sell this microphone, because it's not the worst. It's not something that I can tell somebody, hey, you know what, this is not even worth like the throwaway $5 that I paid for it, pretty much. And yeah, it's actually surprisingly not the worst. I actually had that newer condenser microphone, and that was such hot garbage. That newer NW700, such hot garbage. Like, I didn't keep anything except this scissor arm. This scissor arm, that's the newer scissor arm that I use on all my live streams, came from that kit, and I sold that because I knew that I would never use it, but I kept the scissor arm because I knew I would use that in the future. That's just how my mind works. And that's kind of the same mentality that I was thinking about right here, because I do have a couple of different microphones and a couple of different setups like this. So this is one of these mock vocal booths. That's just one of the pieces to my voiceover, because I have my walk-in closet and I've been working in there to kind of make a makeshift like vocal booth in there with all the dense clothes and everything like that, to actually make it as quiet as possible, because how it's on the most innermost part of the home here as well, it's also the one furthest away from road noise and all the things like that. So just been making minor tweaks to try to hopefully lead to bigger peaks. So just a little bit of what's been going on. Oh, so Sly says, minus Tuesday, so the kids are taking me to dinner on Monday. Split the difference. Well, happy birthday, Sly. That's so cool. So many Tauruses here. Look, happy birthday weekend to you, Sly. Yes. And then she says, thanks to Peter. Same thing that I just said. Many Tauruses here. Me too. Look at that. So yours is on the 16th, because Sly says, what day? And Mario says the 16th. My sister's on the 16th. That's funny. My sister is 2 years and 2 days younger than me. So it was 2 years past my 2 days past my second birthday when she was born. I was, the 14th and she's the 16th. Let me hydrate. All right. So right now I've been, working on these things for audio, and I was informed about one piece of kit that I think is gonna solve all of my needs. It's called the DBX 286S. It is a preamplifier, it is a de-esser, it is a noise gate, it is a compressor, it is a limiter, all in one for one channel, which is all I need. So, and it's got all physical dials and knobs, which is how I like my audio setup. I really do. I like physical dials where I could, just like add and take away like music. So, with that being said, I think it costs like $200, right around there, or $250, roughly around that range. But it's not as expensive as some other Roland type systems that do the same thing. So it seems to be a very good piece of kit, and that will solve like a lot of my issues when it comes to the microphone. So when if I decide to go dynamic, anything of that sort, it has everything that it needs, instead of just being kind of like a cloud lifter or a Fat Head. Yep, the Phantom series. Anything like that of a preamplifier that goes directly into the line, the DBS 286S seems like that's gonna fix all of my needs in particular. So that seems cool. All right. Yep. All right, I kind of gone through anything. Do you guys have any other questions? Because I'm just hanging out here. Oh, did you guys like the tip of the day? Because I'm absolutely enamored with articulating arms. My latest little mind creation is everybody is looking for like a vlogging type of tripod, handle, contraption thing. Everybody's got their own mixed design, and I'm someone who likes to just fix problems, so to speak. Try to find the easiest solution. And I absolutely love articulating arms because they're so versatile. I have a 19-inch television right there on the side that I hang off of an articulating arm. One of these friction arms. So, for example, this guy right here, like this clamp friction arm. These things are awesome. This is my audio setup, my XLR audio setup for my Sony cameras, and instead of having it connected directly to a camera, I have it connected on this friction arm, so wherever or whichever camera that I'm using with a tripod, I'm able to just tighten this on one of the arms of the tripod, friction arm this as close as possible to the camera, and then use this to just connect it, and boom, I have XLR audio on that camera ready to go. So that's one of the things that I'm always using these friction arms for everything. I absolutely love them. But the brainchild, the one that just hit me the other day that I was like, oh, this works so awesome, is that we're always looking for like this lightweight, thin, easy tripod. So one of my favorite tripods, and I even sold my DJI Osmo Mobile 3, my little camera iPhone gimbal. I sold it because I don't use it. So one thing that I did keep was this little DJI little plastic handle tripod. These things are awesome. They're phenomenal. So I use them for as many things as I possibly can. I love the grip that you get on it. So what I did was I basically put a female to female connector on the end of it, which then allowed me to connect an articulating arm to it and get the friction articulating arm nice and tight on it. See if we can get that to focus instead of on my face. There we go. Right? And then the other end, right onto my camera. You can see an easy vlog setup. Now, the cool part for me is that, yeah, it's at an angle, but instead of having to deal with a ball joint at the bottom that you have to adjust and then maybe one at top, you just have one knob in the center that does both, where I can just loosen, hold the camera straight and let gravity do the work, tighten, and ready to go tripod. Oh, I don't know if we can see that. Maybe the microphone was blocking it the whole time. But right there, that's a simple enough vlogging solution with a simple little tripod base and an articulating arm. I think I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, that's a MacGyver hack. That could be a tip of the day for another day or for another video, because I actually think that that's so convenient. You know, we're always trying to get a ball head. I'm like, I have not found a smaller ball head than what's at the end of an articulating arm, hands down. I've bought small ones that end up really taking a crap on me, you know. I have one where I had to, like, the actual knob that was connecting it to tighten the ball head, because the ball head was aluminum, it just stripped the screws, so I had to drill a couple of other holes on the side, tap the aluminum, and then put a couple of different screws to hold the friction that it lost off of the front end, just to, you know, be able to still utilize that ball head instead of just chucking it away. And this is still, like I said, hands down the smallest ball head that I've been able to find anywhere at the end of an articulating arm, and utilizing it correctly, this thing is, I'm going to be using this all the time. You know what? Let me see. Yeah. Oh, you can't see it, but I put it in the bokeh. But that's simple. Boom. Simple little tripod. I think it could even replace the tripod that I have here. That's how convenient it is, because it's even thinner than that. But we'll see, because that's already in place. Why, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But when it comes to like vlogging or anything like that, I think that's a really cool little hack. All right, Randall's in the house. Says happy Mother's Day and birthday, Sly. Happy birthday for Mario Lewis. Hi, Peter. All right, how are you doing, Randall? Thanks for stopping by. Mario saying hello as well. All right. Smaller says, hi, Randall. Lewis and I have a question for you. I've been getting a few affiliate requests lately, and I haven't even posted a video. Are they real? Wow. I haven't. I couldn't even tell you, but I would doubt that they're real. Well, I can't even say that, because they could be real. I don't know why or why not, but I would tell you, be careful. You know, if it's anything that it's an affiliate where they're telling you, hey, you know what, we're offering this new program, we want you to try it out for free, and you know, all you have to do is install it on your computer and, you know, give it a go. do not install anything on your computer. Okay, that is a big no-no. Absolutely not. And if you need help with anything like that, guys, feel free to, DM me, direct message me on anything, just to see if it is legit, because there are ways to finding out, just cross-referencing the email addresses and checking back on the company. It's not easy, it's not like, hey, yeah, this one's good and this one's not. No, you have to do your due diligence and doing a little research yourself, but it will save you a lot of headache, because that has been what's been used lately to hack people's accounts. They go and they say like, oh, try this free software, and you're installing the permissions for them to take over all of like your computer and all of your social media accounts. So I really, if it's anything like that, beware. But if it's an affiliate where they're trying to get you to sell something and you make a commission off of it, that's what an affiliate is. Like I purchased TubeBuddy, right, and I used that myself for my YouTube channel. I've mentioned it before. But because I have an account with TubeBuddy, I do have like an affiliate link through them, so that it's kind of like a referral, like tell a friend of a friend and they give you $5 and things like that. Well, I believe they start upgrading your own, like package to give you like the higher tiers of the TubeBuddy, the more people like click on through your affiliate link. So if it's something like that, it could be very simple, where they're just giving you kind of like that boost or that kickback for the affiliates that you do, that click through your link. But then I would also tell you to be careful that they're not asking you to do something, because I do have an affiliate with TubeBuddy, but I'm not required to make a video about it. So if anything is requiring you to do anything, that's what I would tell you also to beware. Tom Buck has a really good ethics statement, and I agree to a lot of that same mentality of, if you want to send me something, as far as a product, feel free. That does not guarantee you that I'm going to make a video about it or anything like that. Because if I find it to be absolutely garbage, I'm not gonna waste my time. Kind of like this, like this microphone. I grabbed it and I was like, oh, look at that. Now it might be garbage. Now I might have just finished it by dropping it, but just by grabbing it, it was like, oh, this is like, it's a toy, And being that it's so lightweight, could have saved it just now, because it, and good thing I have laminate floors, so all good things when it comes to positivity with this cheap microphone. But that's exactly what I was saying. Like, I have like no hopes for this microphone at all, and yet, for that reason, if I find something to be completely useless and not worth it, I'm not gonna spend my time making a video about it. So, I'll probably go, get back in contact with whichever company sent me an item to see if I can give some feedback to make their item better. But besides that, yeah, nothing's guaranteed, and that's kind of like the ethics where I put you guys first, and if I'm telling you something, is because I've done it myself and I would recommend it, like my tips of the day and things like that. So let's get back to this here. I would, getting back to it, just to finalize that answer, if you do need help looking over those things, I'd be happy to help you slide, to let you know, to see if they seem legit or not. Okay, kit lenses are fine with me. Primes are nice, uh, but get breathing for me. I guess you're talking about focus breathing. You know, I like that's where I say focus breathing. You will get a lot more with prime lenses because they're built for photography. You know, and in photography, you're not gonna tell the difference between like this frame and that frame when they're single photos because they will each one be its own individual image. But when it comes to video and you're, you know, focus racking, that's where you would be able to tell the difference because you're dealing with a motion picture and everything that moves will be visible. And if you have that, you know, where it's focus breathing, you'll definitely see it in video. I have a question for you guys, and hopefully you guys can answer me this. The shot should be changing soon. When the shot changes, the lights over here to the left, are they flickering for you guys? Do you guys see lines? Or does it look just like the magenta color? I would really appreciate, because on my computer I'm seeing scan lines running through, so I want to make sure that that's not something that's kicking back over through YouTube. And it was funny because I was on a live stream earlier today with Doc Rock where he was saying that he saw these lines. Do you see lines here? This is what I'm asking. You know, right here on like the vertical blinds, do you see lines there? Let me know that. I would appreciate it. Okay, so Mario says valid tip of the day with the articulating arm. Yo, I'm gonna be using that so much. And the thing is, let me even get back to it. Where did I do with it? Oh, put it over here. With this here as my tripod, right? No matter which camera I'm using, disconnect. I'm gonna disconnect the bottom from the articulating arm. So now I have the base by itself. And I untighten here and bring this down. And this is the size of my kit. I can throw that in my pocket, let alone into my camera bag. So then, if I wanted this to be kind of like, what's it called? The Gorilla Pod, right? The Gorilla Pod, I believe is what it was called. The people are like, oh, I love the Gorilla Pod because I can wrap it around a tree or something like that. I don't have to carry around a whole nother trap. All I have to do is carry around one of these, the super clamps. So all I need to do is carry around that end, and then I can clamp my camera using the articulating arm to a branch, to a post, to pretty much anything that I could desire. So with those two pieces there and maybe that extra piece there, I can do so much when it comes to camera angles, you name it. And then the fact that like I can make it a top handle, a side handle, so many. I think I sold that on myself when I figured this out, and I was like, oh man, I will be using articulating arms to the day I die. They're so awesome. Excuse me. Okay, so I saw a video where a YouTuber only would receive 10 cents per sale for a coffee cup with his picture on it. Be careful not to sponsor junk. You have, oh look, and let's not even get into contracts because that's an affiliate. So like, I don't need to sign a contract to be an affiliate, if that makes any sense, right? That's just an affiliate. Like, like Peter Gregg said, I think yesterday, like a finder's fee. You know, like, you know, there's these contracts. I saw this one person talking about that they had a contract where the person, there were a smaller, you know, channel, and they wanted it to be, I believe, like their first like sponsored deal, or like, yeah, like sponsored deal. And within the wording of the contract, they wanted to have like full rights to this person's like likeness, name, and pretty much control of their entire YouTube channel from that point and on, and have the ability to sell the rights of him and his image to someone else, to completely own him as a commodity, and everything that he had made prior to that point and signing on the contract. And that was snuck into the contract work, okay, to try to just be able to see, like, maybe he won't read it, sign his life away. So it's, I don't want to scare people into say, like, hey, you know what, don't start a YouTube channel, or don't do sponsorships or affiliates, because it's far from it. It's just, you also got to know that where there's attention, right? And that's what is kind of like the commodity of YouTube, right? Like getting people's attention and keeping their attention. And with that being said, that being the commodity, you're gonna get like the sharks, and you're gonna get, there's bad people all over the world in every aspect of life. So why would it be different here? Is just, don't be gullible. Don't think that everyone is out for your best interest, and know exactly who you're dealing with. That's it. But that goes beyond YouTube. That goes in any aspect of your life. Just be cautious. Read contracts. And if you don't understand it, don't sign it, and be willing to walk away, or walk away with a copy of the contract so that your lawyer could read it and have somebody else read it, go over it before you sign it. And if they don't want you to do that, then there's most likely something in there that they don't want you to see that will let you, I will tell you, trust your gut. Yep. Says Peter said no to a sponsor. Yeah, maybe more than one, I would think. I don't know how many, if any, he's done on his main channel. But, they really start coming at you after 10,000 subscribers. And I heard once you hit 20 and the 30 marks, like, it's just like, it's kind of like every 10K, you're going to get more and more and more. It says Randall, I do remember that. It's been a while. I had forgotten. Yeah, I believe it was the water bottles. It says, did you mention anything on Facebook? I'm not sure what you're saying, Randall. If I mentioned anything. Oh, you're talking to Sly. It says, no, I don't really do Facebook. Couldn't even tell you the last I was on. So I says, I quit my job, so I'm going to become a YouTuber. Love it. Alright, so Sly, count on me. Congratulations. Joanna Torres, welcome. She says, nope. I'm not sure exactly what we were talking about, but welcome. How are you? Randall says, yes. Okay, so Joanna says nope with the lines. Randall says yes. Mario says yes, I see the lines. I'm using a 4K monitor. No, but I'm the same way. I see the lines because I don't have a 4K monitor officially. It does 4K, but it's not its native resolution, but it is 120 hertz. And because of the 120 hertz, but then that goes to show you, because I don't think that was like that before. you know, with the lines, and I see the lines now, and I'm one of those people, you know, ARs, anal retentive when it comes to this. It's just, that's me, right? The camera junkie. So definitely, I see those lines. I refresh rates, all that stuff. That's my neck of the woods. Okay, but thank you for the information, guys. I appreciate it. When it comes to the lines, I see them, so that's most likely why it's getting to me. I'm definitely gonna have to check it out because maybe it is just this camera. It could just be this camera and this lens. Maybe if I go APS-C or something different, something a little bit faster, have to definitely check on it. You know what? Give me 1 second. Nope, refresh rate and everything is right, so I can't say that. So definitely look into it. Says, thanks Mario, I see the vertical blind lines, but not lines in the color. Okay, so you're seeing the lines up and down. No, I'm talking about scan lines. But we have Mario with the 4K monitor and he's seeing them. But Scott Rogers in the house. How are you doing, sir? He's saying, hey, Lewis and friends. Welcome, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Says, hi, Scott. Did you bring snacks? It's usually cookies, right? He says, uh-oh. No cookies. No cookies tonight. Maybe, most likely, most definitely, now that I'm thinking about it, next week I'm going to be splurging on some Krispy Kreme donuts for my birthday. It's been a while. I haven't had any. I'm not going to go today because I already know that I'm going to go next week. That's going to be official. And I'm going to have a dozen of freshly glazed Krispy Kreme donuts. For the win. That's going to be my birthday gift to me. That sounds good. All right. But we have reached the end of the chat. Guys, do you have any other questions or anything that you want to talk about? Another thing that we could talk about real quick is this new Sony APS-C camera. Everyone's talking like this wild rumor. I think it was his video that I saw, the ordinary filmmaker, that he was talking about the new, what is this, Sony A7R5. Wild rumor, specs are all over the wall. It really doesn't sound feasible. Now, what I had mentioned to you guys before about the camera, the APS-C camera that was supposedly rumored, is seeming to be more or less what I speculated, which I was saying, like, it's either going to be a 30 or 32 megapixel sensor, which is kind of the megapixel size that you would get off of their previous R series. So it could be like a high resolution APS-C camera in 32 megapixels. It looks like, rumored, and when it comes to Sony's names on the cameras, I think that's probably the worst thing, you know, to talk about, because I even thought that it was going to be called the Sony A79. No, listen to me, A79. Listen to me. Wow. The Sony A9 Mark III, and it came out to be the Sony Alpha 1. So when it comes to the camera names, it could be off the wall. They're saying that it could be the Sony A6700 and that it's going to be replacing the A6600. I once again, I'm going by a little bit more information, because if my information serves me correctly, the A6100 from Sony has been discontinued. And it's something that happened on the hush hush, like nobody's really talking about it, and it's been discontinued. So it looks like the entry level to Sony APS-C is no longer going to be the A6100, it's going to be the A6400. The A6600 might be the middle ground, and there's going to be an A60 something. God knows what could be called. That is probably going to be the new flagship camera. And they're talking about some pretty nice specs, something comparable on the APS-C, saying as far as the flagship, they're saying calling it a baby A1. So the alpha one is the one that was just released, and now they're saying that this new APS-C camera from Sony could be the new baby A1. I wouldn't go that far, but you know, certain things, if it's going to be a step up from the 6600, you're talking about the Z battery. It's at 11 frames a second. Because will they be going faster? Will they be going like 15 frames mechanical? You know, 30 frames electronic? I don't know, but I know these cameras definitely. I love the APS-C line. Let's see if they listened to MrCameraJunkie. Let's see if they put 2 card slots in the APS-C and really make it like an official, you know, professional type APS-C camera. You know, even if it is a micro SD. You know, if they put in a micro SD into the camera, I'll be like, yo, Sony was listening to my live stream. That would be so cool. But it would be cool for all of us to get dual card slots like that on a camera, on an APS-C. Says they probably got the number wrong to the Sony A7 IV. I know the A7 IV is probably going to be probably announced before the replacement of the A7 R series, especially the R. It's the R4, I believe, just came out like last year, the year before. I think it was 2018. Oh, listen to me. 2019, when the R4 61 megapixels was announced. It's a great camera. It does so much. Yeah, APS-C, it's a 26 megapixel. That camera's beast mode. So with that being said, I really don't think that the R series will be getting the replacement when the A7 series, the A7 III, is like been around for 4 years, and I would see that being replaced with something similar, 36 megapixels, upping the megapixel count on their cameras. That's just me speculating, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm still hoping, and I'm hoping that they don't go with the fully articulating screen. I am team flip up for the win. I'm not the biggest fan of articulating screens off to the side. I think it's an older technology. I think, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I think it's a bunch of people who still love Canon cameras that have the articulating screen and think that that is the end all be all. And I beg to differ. I think actually, like Sony's, their DSLR cameras, their Sony DSLR cameras, the A77 or the A77 II, had this crazy articulating screen for a DSLR. You could throw something like that onto the A7 IV, I'd be a happy camper. Like, actually, so many people will be a happy camper because it has a screen that will flip up over the viewfinder, and the viewfinder's still there. Forget it. I think Sony should just look a little bit back into their own technology and throw that into the A7 instead of having it articulating off to the side. We'll see. Alright, we got a couple of more chats here. It says, you comment on the 20 megapixel sensor on the Canon 6D versus the 20 megapixel on the R6. No pixel stacking on the 6D. So how different are they? I actually don't think there's any difference in those sensors at all. What's the difference and what people see when it comes to the colors has everything to do with the dual processors in the R6 comparative to the 6D. and if I'm saying that correctly, just to not mix. Yeah. So that's what it has to do with. It has to do with the color science of how they're pulling that information and how it's being rendered through the processors that are built into the computer. That's why people see such drastic differences in colors between the R6 and the R5. So if you think that there's a difference, I don't. I think they're using the same exact sensor. They know it's a good sensor, and because they know how to utilize it, they know how to maximize it, and that's what they did. And they threw it onto the mirrorless body with the R6 system. That's how I feel. A lot of people don't really know how, like, they utilize the same exact thing. For example, Fuji uses Sony sensors. And I really started doing some digging, and my Sony NEX6 has a 16.1 megapixel CMOS X Transor 2 sensor, which is the same exact sensor that you find in my Fujifilm X-T1. 16.1 megapixels, identical. And then I could honestly tell you that they give me a similar type quality. For example, I feel that 12 to 16 megapixels actually gives you high quality images, and they still give you a filmic look. So 16 megapixels is high enough resolution to get really good images, especially if you're not cropping. Also, when you look at the images, they looked soft. They look like a bit of grainy, like if they were rendered on film with emulsions, and they look like that. Ever since I used my Canon 5D, which is a full frame 12 megapixel, including these sensors, another one that I had, the Sony 5000, the NEX3 that I had previously, which was also 16.1 megapixel with the same sensor. They all gave me that same filmic look when it came to the images in photography. Now, 18 megapixels and up, 18, 20, 24, 26, 28, 30. Now you've gotten to a level of sharpness that to get that filmic look, in my opinion, you have to add grain in post, give it a bit of softness in that aspect to actually get that type of like warmth coming right off of the image, or pretty much said right off of the sensor. And I think that has to do everything with the resolutions, with the, getting so much detail out of the image and jam packing that into the file that when you open it, you're seeing like this over sharpened look of the image because there's so much data on there, so much information. So that's how I feel when it comes to that. I actually think that, when it comes to the difference in the sensor between the 6D and the R6, I don't think that there's a difference at all in the sensor itself. It all has to do with the processing. Because like I said, they might give me the same type of filmic look, but we all know that there's a huge difference between the JPEGs that you get from a Sony camera than you would off of a Fuji, even though they're using the same sensor. Because the processing, the computing power behind it is such a big difference of what you're going to get as your final product. Or the A7 IV is a smaller body. Ooh, that would be interesting. Randall says mechanical is dead. I don't know if mechanical is dead. That's funny. We are getting to that point though. I laugh because I guess I say maybe not, because I still love mechanical shutters. I love the images, stills that I get off of mechanical shutter. But I can't really say that I complain about the electronic shutter images that I get off of these Sonys. They're really great cameras. So, and everything's moving to a higher, faster speed. You know, pretty soon all of these cameras are going to be shooting this new high format. Um, just so many new things that are coming out that, yeah, I think that's going to be the evolution. They're going to be going non-mechanical, and they're going to go electronic global shutter. Here's to that, right? Here's to, oh, and that would be great, right? If Sony releases a new APS-C camera and it's like more pro body, let it have like full on picture profile 11, you know, like S Cinetone. Go the whole way on the, you know, to match APS-C. APS-C. Ooh, that would be interesting, right? What if Sony, and this is me just speculating, what if Sony comes out with a APS-C cinema camera? Something like that. You never know. Sony just, they do whatever they want. So, all electronic now. Lawsuit going on against Sony for fixing the A7 III. Yeah, I heard about that lawsuit about like the broken shutters that the A7 III's come out with, which is interesting because well, let me not say, because I really don't know how it when it comes to deal with insurance claims and stuff like that, but yeah, I did hear about that lawsuit. It says the A7R5 coming out before the A7 IV. I don't think so. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think so. Because where would you step up? And that's exactly my point. Going back to what Simon said. Simon brought the rumor about this information being leaked about the A7R5, and that is going to have the same 61 megapixel sensor. I'm like, if it has the same 61 megapixel sensor, what real difference is there going to be off of the R4? Because the R4 is such an amazing camera. Like, they had to only make the best camera ever in the Sony Alpha 1 to become better than their A7R4. That's the way I see it. Like, they just said, like, look, we had to do so much to take our R series kind of like and level up that R series. So I feel that the A7 IV and not the R5, the A7 IV will be coming out before the update to the R series, but that's just me speculating. Let's see how close I get to these things, because I was there pretty much on point with the 14 millimeter. I was very close when it came to specs on. Yeah, I was pretty much on point when it came to the specs of the Alpha 1. But they exceeded. I said 24 frames per second. They did it up to 30. I think everything else was like pretty much on point. And then on top of that, like the name that I was thinking that it was called the Sony, A9 Mark III, and they called it the Alpha 1. So besides the name, which I don't count, let's talk about specs. Just saying how Sony has progressed their cameras in the technology, in their line. That's pretty much where I see it. All right. Says, yep, rumor, all of it. Sony keeps their secrets. Yeah, that's why it's so tough to do Sony rumors, And I speculate here, and I just like have an open conversation with you guys. I'm like, what do you think could be happening? Because I really don't pay attention to the rumor sites. I go with what's been known from Sony. Like, Sony let us know that there were still 3 cameras left to be announced this year. So going by, just however we want to say, let's not even call the names what they're going to be called, but replacements, right? Successors to the A7 III, the APS-C line, and maybe the R. But I heard something of, like, instead of calling it the R, the A7A3, like extremely good in low light for like astro photography or something like that. Like I said, we don't know because they call it the S series for supreme or superior technology when it used to be called for sensitivity. They change the names however they want. But if 3 cameras are still to be announced for this year, then most likely the next one is going to be the APS-C. And then we'll see what we deal with the full frames, because it would just be, they just released the Alpha 1. So it would be either, successors to the A7 III and to the A7R4. Which would be amazing if they come out with those cameras. Sony will take the cake. Because the only thing that would be missing is the lenses, Because that's another thing I would like to mention. Canon always says, like, oh, we don't sell cameras, we sell lenses. And Sony's kind of like, makes sense. We have enough good cameras, and they've been focusing on making lenses, the trio of like 2.5s and 2.8, full metal, little compact, 20, I think is a 24 millimeter, a 40 and a 50. Excuse me. With that being said, they also came out with the 50 millimeter f1.2, which is being regarded as the best 50 millimeter, period. And that's all. Nothing else needs to be said. So that's high praise. They came out with the 20 millimeter before that, the 35 G Master primes that are just off the charts amazing. They're above 70 lenses for the E-mount lineup. Sony is a major force to be reckoned with. And if it's one thing, the reason why I love Sony so much is because of the autofocus. Like right now, I can do this entire live stream, not worry about a thing, throw a camera up here, be like boom, bring it down, it's back onto the face. It's not hunting, it's not going crazy. I've seen, I watch a lot of live streams and a lot of YouTube, and I see when the camera just starts going crazy and hunting and different things like that. And when it comes to me shooting photography and portraits, I like to know that I can think about other things, about framing, composition, lighting, white balance, and know that when I got all of those things set and I'm ready to take my shot, all I have to do is press my back button focus. My camera's gonna find the eye, lock onto it, and start clicking away and start taking great photos. So that's it. Says it's all secrets. He says, yep, rumors, all of it. Sony keeps their secrets until they're ready to sell. Yeah, and this is the funny thing. If you know anything about Sony, if you know it, you've already signed the NDA. You've already signed the non-disclosure agreement, because that's exactly what would happen. Like, you won't be allowed to talk about it if you knew anything about it, and if not, you're completely in the dark. Think about this. When it comes to all of YouTube, right? Every YouTuber, Gerald Undone, anyone who's anyone in the camera photography space had no idea about the Sony A1. No, but everybody was just like, I'm talking about, I'm watching a live stream where Manny Ortiz and Jared Polin are talking to each other, and they're both like losing their stuff with the announcement for the Sony A1. So that goes to show you, I absolutely agree. Sony is the best at keeping their cards close to the chest or close to the vest, right? That's the term. And yeah, and they don't let anyone know unless they want them to know, and they would have signed a non-disclosure agreement, and that's that. We get the information. Yeah, I'd rather wait for it to come out from Sony before I speak about it. Oh, Bry is in the house. What's up, Bry? How you doing, my brother? How you doing, sir? Thank you for stopping by. Alright, Nikkor Z F1.2 or the Z Noctua 0.95 competes. But for what? It competes in what? Because you see, like, those are great lenses, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. If Nikon wants to survive this camera war, so to speak, that's been going on, if they just want to survive, they have so many loyal enthusiasts behind their brand. Get one camera with good autofocus. Get one that it's just gonna be reliable, and as soon as they got that, they can put all those lenses to work. That's that. I've always said it. They get their lens. I mean, they get their autofocus right. They're gonna have all of their faithful buy into that camera system once again. All right, what's a good mid-sized lens for an A6100, which is predominantly cheap? Okay, so welcome, Elijah, right? I think that's how you say it. Okay, so a mid-size lens? Well, I would ask you to be a little bit more specific on what you would say mid-size. Maybe you could tell me which focal length you're looking at, or if you're actually talking about actual physical size. Randall says 50 millimeter. Prime or zoom? To Elijah. Says, I have the 50mm kit lens, but I'm not sure what brand type to go with. I want an upgrade. Well, we're talking about kit lenses, and I feel that if you're shooting video, kit lenses are great. You're gonna get a lot of benefits from using the kit lens. Mostly the optical stabilization in the cameras, especially if you're saying that you're shooting with the A6100 that doesn't have IBIS inside the body. Now, you're saying mid-size, like that's I'm still asking, is that more the focal length? Because if it's a 50mm and the kit lens, but you like that focal length, I would highly recommend. Yeah, I would tell you, do the Zeiss 55 f1.8. It's probably one of the sharpest lenses that you would find, period, for the Sony E-mount. It's my favorite lens, so why wouldn't I recommend it? Amazing images that you get off of that lens every time, and you could be the biggest pixel peeper, and you take a couple of looks at the images that you get from that lens, and you would be highly pleased. Now, when it comes to brands to upgrade to, if you do want to go something a little bit cheaper, because that is a full frame lens and you're using the A6100, you did say a different brand or type. The Sigma 56mm f1.4, also a great lens. Right now, the lens that you're looking at is the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which gives a 24mm equivalent. So super sharp, great when it comes to the blurry backgrounds in the bokeh. fairly inexpensive comparative to the other lenses. And what else? Oh, the one thing, it's not image stabilized. But to be frank, neither is the Zeiss or the 50mm f1.8 from Sony. None of those lenses are image stabilized, so you would have to work around that. But if you're looking to get that type of focal length, I would also recommend the Sigma. Great brand, third party, and those lenses, they have three of them. They have the 16mm, which is what you're looking at. They have a 30mm and the 56, and all of them at f1.4. They're all great. They're all great. It says, I'm sort of new to all this camera gear and I'm using it mainly for video. Okay, if you're using it mainly for video, I would honestly tell you to stick with your kit lens if that's the focal length that you want. Now, if you have the same kit lens, which is this one here. See, if you still have this pancake one, this is the 16 to 50mm, right? So if you have this lens on your Sony camera, I would most likely tell you for video to hold on to that. 16mm gives you 24mm, which is wide. It's a power zoom, gets you all the way to 50mm, which is a 75. But more importantly, on that body is that it's image stabilization, optical image stabilization in the lens that's gonna take all the jitters and the shakes from your hand. So I would definitely recommend that. Says, can I get the name of the lens again? I forgot to write it down. Sigma. Sigma. S-I-G-M-A. And just type that in. Sigma Sony APS-C. You're going to start seeing the 16, the 30, and the 56. They're super popular. And it's for a reason. They're great, great lens. It says, it depends if he's going to vlog or stream or just take pictures. Well, 2 out of 3, like the 16mm is awesome. So if you're going to vlog, 16mm wide. If you're going to shoot photos, 16mm wide, this is a great lens. Actually, any of those, right? Because if you're doing live streaming, perfect, because it's on a tripod. Now, vlogging, I do like it, but like I said, it is going to be shakier than your kit lens because of the OSS. It says vlog cinema. I actually think that, bro, you should start with the kit lens. You'd be surprised what you can get from that lens, especially for video. Especially for video. Says, you see Randall's over here saying the Sigma f1.4 16mm. That's what I said too. That's my go-to. Why would I recommend it? Because I do have the kit lens. If I don't really vlog, but when I do vlog, I kind of like vlog with a tripod, and I'll still be using the Sigma. Absolutely love this lens. Like, right? That's a bias for your that's a bias because I absolutely love the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Love this lens. I use it all the time, and I use it for every single live stream. He said, yep, that's the one. But like I said, you can get a lens, and that's what's really good about these cameras, because just because you bought a lens doesn't mean that you could only use that lens. These are interchangeable. You can swap them out, and that's something that I do, that if I need the optical stabilization, for sure I'm throwing my kit lens on there, because it's gonna make such a huge difference. Such a huge difference. If you want, you can check it out. I do have a video about the kit lens, the 16 to 50mm, on my channel. You can take a look at it, because toward the back end as well, there's a part where I literally hang the camera the way my second shot over here is, like this, while I'm driving in my car. And I'm driving and the thing is shaking and everything, and I just stayed so surprised on how well the camera looked and maintained itself with the optical stabilization in the kit lens. I'm like, I was hitting some pretty big potholes and it wasn't really reflecting that in the video. So that's my advice to you. He says, great guess. I don't need an upgrade after all. Thanks, guys. No, exactly. Now, you could, and you'll know which one you can upgrade to the future, but I would honestly tell you, stick with the kit lens right now. It has that variable like range, and you're gonna start whether it's photography or video, you're gonna start shooting at a certain focal length. You're going to know if you really like to shoot wide, or if you like it to be tighter, if you really like it to be telephoto. And the kit lens gives you the ability for all three of those stages. So if you see that you're like, yo, I really shoot a lot at the 50mm, or, oh, you know what, I'm really a lot more at like 20mm on the APS-C, or even 16, that's like the widest that it can go, then you know what, if I'm shooting at 16, when I'm going to invest into my next lens, I want to get a high priced or something of high quality 16mm like this one. But you will already know what's your favorite focal length, so you'll know where to invest, instead of just saying like, oh, I'm gonna buy another zoom lens that's kind of good but really isn't gonna be that much of a difference. But you will always learn so much and get so much out of the kit lens. So I'm glad that helped, man, because that's basically what today's topic was on the live stream. With our kit lenses worth it, and I actually do think that they're very worth it. They're still part of my kit, So, well, with that being said, guys, we've been at it for an hour and a half. I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out here with me. I'm so happy to conversate with you guys. Elijah, I believe I'm saying that correct. Happy to help. And I do this every Saturday, so you're more than welcome to come back and join and become part of the Camera Junkie crew. We're always have an open discussion where we give our thoughts on these ideas when it comes to photography, video, YouTube, and everything encompassing. So with that being said, I just want to thank every single one of you, as always, for hanging out here with me. Your time is your most valuable commodity, and I really do appreciate that you do take the time and spend it here with me. So with that being said, the same tip of the day that I started the show with, I'm going to end the show with. So I've been working on a couple of things like that to just kind of make everything cohesive. So now I'm going to play my outro, which is going to be my tip of the day. And I believe if everything goes correctly, it should automatically end the stream. So with that being said, thank you for hanging out here with me. Bye to everyone, and have a great night. And let's keep our fingers crossed, but everything should work. So here we go. Good night, everyone. Friction arms are one of my favorite accessories. Today's tip, I show you how I use friction arms to make handles for my camera cage. All you have to do is hand screw the 1/4-20s, set your desired angle, and tighten to set in place. Now you have an adjustable handle with multiple uses, allowing you to get a better grip on your camera for stable handheld footage. It can also be set as a top handle to get very low angles. Mr. Camera Junkie's tip of the day.